now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. I was watching a Ringo TV reactions video where he was talking about this modern Asian woman and why she is a textbook reason why men just can't get married these days. And as I was watching Ringo's video, I agreed with a lot of his talking points, but as I watched the video, I wanted to go out here and make my own analysis, so I tracked down that video on Twitter, and I'm gonna go and deconstruct this woman in crisis. All video footage used in this video is under fair use of United States copyright law of 1976 and in conjunction with my commentary.
Last year I turned 40, and these are things that I would not do again in my 20s and 30s. I would not get married. I met my husband when I was 24, and we got married when I was 29. At the time, I thought that this was like the ideal situation. I'm at the perfect age to get married. But what I realized was in the 4 years that we were married, I grew so much as a person. I graduated from business school, started my own business. I just became such a different person that I didn't feel like he was the best fit for me anymore. And I don't think I could have realized that at 29 when I said yes. If I could do it again, I would have allowed myself to have so much more growth in my life before I made a decision on a life partner. And it's really nothing against that partner specifically, but it was more about the direction that I wanted my life to take. My interests by 35 were unrecognizable to my younger self. And I don't think it would have been fair for me to take him on this journey if I didn't think that he was the right partner for the version of me that was to come.
Excuse me? What the fuck? Now, as I listened to this woman's video multiple times, it's clear to me that this is one of those feminist indoctrinated women that I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis, and she's participating in the same kinds of behavior that I talk about regarding the paradigm of failure in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Now, this Asian woman basically is one of these feminist indoctrinated women who isn't really interested in any marriage and never was interested in marrying any man at all to commit to being a helpmeet to him. No, for this woman, she basically saw a man as just another check mark as related to the goals that she was told to follow as related to white feminism. So this woman never really was committed to that man at all. No, she basically just saw him as another object as related to the accomplishments she wanted to achieve in the course of her life. And that really showed to me as related to her talking about her courtship, because usually most women and men want to go out here and commit to their partners in less than 6 months. Usually it doesn't take long for a man or a woman to know if they want to marry someone, but this woman says she met her husband when she was 24 years old, and she stayed with this man for 5 years. And that's a red flag that every guy out here really has to look at, because if a woman is serious about wanting to commit with you, she's not going to sit there and wait 5 years for things to go into a marriage. No, you're gonna know within about 6 months. So that really shows me that this woman wasn't really interested in this man at all. No, she was basically looking to go out here and try to see if this guy would fit into her world and was not interested in looking to be led by that man. No, she was looking to go out here and be the leader in the relationship. So she wasn't looking to go out here and be a partner and a helpmeet to that man. She wasn't looking to help that man achieve his goals. No, she was looking to see where he fit into her goals. And that's why she waited so long to get married to him, because she was basically looking to see if there was some other better choice for her. And she was sitting there waiting to see if she could get a better deal. And I talk about this in the chapter of The Woman Crisis I call The Quest for the Better Deal. And when she went out here, she was basically just holding on to this guy like a tether, but she wasn't really looking to commit to him at all. But then she basically ran out of prospects and then just decided to go out here and marry this guy who she basically expressed all of her contempt for, as I guarantee you, throughout the course of this relationship, because this woman basically in her words and her actions showed that she believed that she was, one, superior to the man that she was involved with, and thought that she could do better than him. So when she looked at this guy that she was with for 5 years, she was just holding on to him like a placeholder, hoping that something would come better. And that's basically why she stayed with him for 5 years, because she was hoping that her options, things would get better as related to him. Now, as she went out here and saw that there were next to no options, she basically came into the relationship looking to settle down with this guy. And I mean settle in that she was settling for him because she could not find any other guys out here that could meet her unrealistic criteria. Because with feminist indoctrinated women like this, oftentimes they have extremely unrealistic ideas about the men that they get involved with. And with feminist indoctrinated women like this, they have had their brains filled with a lot of nonsense from Madison Avenue and Hollywood. And what they're looking for is this ideal Mr. Right. And as they look for this Mr. Right, who is basically this 6 foot tall, makes 6 figures, has a 6-inch carbon rod, and can go out here and provide them with an high-class lifestyle, these women go out here and look on a quest for those guys. Meanwhile, they go out here and passively will get involved with a guy, and aggressively they will express their contempt for them as they're looking to settle for better, not understanding that they're out here chasing a social construct. And as they chase this social construct of a man, like a mule with a carrot, they sit there and go out here and think that they don't have to respect the man that they're involved with by wasting their time. Because basically this woman, again, was sitting there wasting this guy's time, stringing him along, because she thought that if she could go out here and settle for him, if she couldn't find anything better. But as she sat there and married this man, she went out here talking about how she was going to school, talking about how she was getting her degrees, and this basically gassed up this woman more than the already arrogant mindset that she already had. And as she went out here, went and got her graduate degree and as related to business and started her own business, this is where her disdain from this man started to turn into contempt. And as over the course of the 5-year marriage, this is where this woman started to really start to show how little respect she had for this man, because she started her disrespect, I believe, by just getting involved with him with the whole mindset of saying, I'm going to settle for this dude. He's going to be a placeholder until I can find something better. But as she went on, got her degree and got her little business started, this is where she was looking at this man and really starting to see him as less than. And as she began to see him as less than, what she started to do over the course of that 5-year marriage was basically start to think, I can do better than this man, and went out here and further went on a quest for the better deal, going from thinking about going to get a better deal to going out here and looking to go out here and make herself available so that she could go out here and get this better deal from this social construct of this man that she was going for, this ideal. And as she went on this quest for the ideal, that's when she wanted to talk about, oh, I'm growing apart from this guy. No, you never were connected to this guy at all, because a woman who is connected to a man, she is not going to want to break that soul tie. She's not going to want to break that bond that she has with that man. But this woman basically wanted to break those ties because she never had any connection to this guy outside of the codependent relationship she wanted to get involved with from minute one. Because from minute one, she wanted to have all the power in the relationship, and she wanted to have all complete control as related to things. And I guarantee you, from the arrogant way this woman was talking, she was basically dominating and subjugating this beta male, because any dude out here would have looked at this woman from minute one, when she's sitting up here at 24 talking about all this mess, and they basically would have said, look, at the 6-month mark, either I'm going to get with it, I'm going to ask this woman to marry me, or I'm going to charge her to the game. And with this woman being Asian, I know that this woman was feminist indoctrinated, because usually in Asian communities, they really get on their daughters about getting married within about 6 months. For this to go on 5 years basically shows me that the mother was also feminist indoctrinated, because in a traditional Asian family, if a woman gets older like this, they really frown on the woman not being married. And again, she possibly just picked the spare guy just to get married, but really didn't care about that man, and again, had no respect for that man. And this is why her marriage wound up falling apart. She wound up, I believe, unilaterally, because I'm listening to her, filing for divorce, and then thinking, oh, I'll divorce this man, and what I'll do is go out here and look for this better deal. But what this woman doesn't understand is that she's on the road to a raw deal, because yeah, you're a different person than you were when you were 24, but the person you are today is just so arrogant and so nasty that no man would consider you for any sort of marriage or any sort of relationship, because the values and attitude that this woman has make her extremely unattractive. Not to mention that she's looking a little on the heavy side, looking a little bit like a Miss Piggy. But this type of woman is so haughty and arrogant, she basically still thinks she's got movie star looks, but she doesn't see herself the way most men look at her. Because when most men like myself look at a 40-year-old woman like this, we shake our heads, because we already know that this woman right here is on the road to bust downtown, and basically is on the road to becoming 50, 60, 70, even 80% off the original social marketplace price. And her haughty idea of her high value doesn't make her valuable in the social marketplace. No, her value is less than that of a $5 food stamp without the book, as related to the social marketplace, because most men don't care if this woman has her so-called master's in business. We don't care if she's got a business that's making 6 figures. No, that's not the barometer that men go out here and measure a woman by. No, most men like myself out here, when we look at a 40-year-old woman like this, we see her as a bust down because she's already coming off one failed marriage where she basically shows that she still has DNA and soul ties from another man. And she's also showing that she has a really haughty attitude. And she's also showing that she cannot be submissive and cooperative. No, she also doesn't show a man that she can be respectful to a man. No, she shows most men like myself that she is not somebody we can consider for any sort of long-term relationship. And when we listen to her, we're basically hearing someone who is more like a person believing that that a relationship is some sort of thing that you do as related to a job. It is supposed to be some sort of accomplishment as related to a group of check boxes, as related to a career. So when I look at this woman, I don't see someone I would consider for any sort of dating or any sort of courtship. No, I see a woman that basically would be somebody I would definitely pass on, because this woman basically, she shows me how arrogant and condescending she is, and that's the thing that would turn most guys off, because if you can't get respect from a woman from minute one, then there's no reason to move forward with this woman who thinks that she can go out here and have relationships like a business where she's looking for a business deal. But when men look at her, they don't see a woman that is someone they can lead as related to being a helpmeet, nor do they see anybody who they can teach to be a part of their program, because she's so invested in her own program that you cannot really teach her anything. And this is something I go in depth on in one of my chapters in Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, about how women like this are basically set in their ways. And when a woman is set in their ways like this, there is no way you can work with that woman towards building anything, because she's in direct competition with you. And I talk about that in The Woman Crisis. When a woman is competing with you, then there's no way she can go out here and work with you in a relationship. No, when a woman is out here basically looking to compete with you, she is working against you. And as she's out here working against you, there is no way for you to go out here and work with that woman. No, there's no way for you to go out here and work with her, because every time you try to go in one direction, she will pull away from you. And every time you try to move in another direction, she's going to pull against you. And again, she's going to think her way is the only way. So there's no way she can help you. And she's just going to become a hindrance. Moreover, she's going to become extremely jealous of you and look to undermine and sabotage you. So many of these women, they'll sit there and think, oh, I can find a better man who will make more money. But many of those men don't want anything to do with a woman like this, because she's completely incompatible with you. And she's completely incompatible with you because she's a feminist and not a woman, because a feminist is completely different than a woman. A feminist has a completely different mindset than a woman. A feminist looks to go out here and wants to be in the place of a man, and that's what this woman wanted to be. She wanted to get the degrees and the business so she could be in the place of a man, and she was looking to go out here and cut her ties with a man, hoping to find some beta male who would go out here and just be the Ken doll in her Barbie mansion. But she's not going to find any guys up there making 6 or 7 figures on that level. Again, this is the delusion that many feminist indoctrinated women have, that they're going to find some guy who makes 6 or 7 figures who is going to go out here and look to be the Ken doll in their home. But there are no men like this. And sadly, these women think, oh, at 40 years old, I'm doing so well. No, you're not doing well at all. No, you're on the road to bust downtown. And this woman is a textbook example of a woman on the road to bust downtown. And as she thinks she's going up as related to her money and her business, she's actually on the road to being on the road to a major decline. And on that road to a major decline, she's not going to find quality men who want to go out here and want to get involved with her. No, what she's going to find are guys from the bottom of the social marketplace, the Asian Pookies, the white Pookies, the Asian Ray Rays, and maybe a couple of black guys who are like Pookie and Ray Ray. These are the kind of guys who she's going to attract, because most men want to be in the leadership role of the relationship. They want to be in charge of the relationship, and they want a woman to work with them. But with these kind of women, they get so caught up in their ego, and as they get caught up in their ego about themselves, they just glom on to guys who go out here and tell her what they want to hear. And as they tell her what they want to hear, she is just so smitten by the bootlicking these guys do. And as she's so smitten by the bootlicking these guys do, what she does is go out here and drop the skid mark thong, and winds up giving these guys a place to put their carbon rod in and get their taste of the atomic waste. And usually women like this, what happens with them most of the times is, as they're in bust downtown, they're getting pumped and dumped. And yeah, they're making a lot of money, but what these guys do is just use her to get some cash and some clothes and some jewelry. And then after they smash it 2 or 3 times and break those walls down, what they do is then bounce and be on their way. And Miss Haughty and Arrogant will be sitting there talking about, oh, men are no good, when the problem was she attracts and she's attracting those that are like this because she's a very just nasty and haughty and arrogant person. And haughty and arrogant women like this look to try to break men down in codependent relationships, but then wind up getting broken down in the bedroom, getting their back blown out. And after they get their back blown out, most of these guys just leave her laying on the bed in a quivering mess, and leave her with the man gravy on the butt cheeks, and are on their way out. And again, that's basic. This modern woman thinks, oh, I'm so much, but the whole thing is, as she's getting broken down and bust downtown, she's basically thinking, oh, I'm having all of these guys, I'm looking for this perfect man, but the whole thing is she will never find anyone who wants to take her for a husband. And the reason why no one wants to take her for a husband or for a wife is because she's messed up from the neck up, not the waist down. And the whole thing is her from the neck up needs a checkup. And again, this chick is just so broken mentally that no guy wants to get involved with her, and outside of those bottom feeders at the bottom of the social marketplace, who see her as someone with a whole bunch of cash and a little bit of ass. And again, after they go out here and use her to get to either be a place to stay, a place to go get some new Jordans and a PS5, or go out here and get some easy draws, they don't see her as anybody that is so-called high value. And again, these guys will gas her head up and make her believe that she's the high value chick, but she's really again, food stamp bust down. And again, this is the type of woman who thinks that she's all that, but nobody cares about her at all. And again, she attracts this to her because she's like, oh, I've got my degrees, I've got my job. And yeah, you got the degrees and the job, but no man wants to get involved with you, and no man wants to get involved with this woman because she isn't wife material. She never was wife material. Yeah, she had a simp back when she was young, But the whole thing was she was so full of herself, she couldn't see that this was the best she could do. And again, she thought she could go out here and get the better deal. But all she's going to wind up when she gets older is, yeah, she's going to have the business, and she's going to become very bitter and emotional and wind up undermining her own business. And as she undermines her own business, she's going to wind up running out of money, and she's going to wind up getting, after she gets turned out by 3 or 4 guys, wind up just so in a place where she's just extremely dysfunctional. And what's going to happen to this woman is what happens to many women in Bust Downtown. They got the house, they got the money, but they're miserable people, and they live to make other people miserable because they don't know how to have company with others, and they don't know how to have company with others because they are just unbearable people to be around. And as I listened to this woman saying, oh, I wish I never got married. No, you never wanted to get married out for love. You didn't ever really cared about anyone. It was always about you. And as I listened to this woman's narcissism, it basically showed me it was all about her and her getting what she wanted. She never considered her partners like the husband. She never cared about him on any level. No, it was all about her and all about her getting her accomplishments. And once she realized that, oh, this marriage isn't what I want to go out here and get something better, that's when she wanted to get out of the marriage, because she never loved this man. No, she was always looking for a better deal, and now she's gonna basically get turned out by all of these guys as she looks for this better deal. And all these guys are gonna do, again, is tell her what she wants to hear and tell her what she wants to hear, so they can go again get her to drop that XL skid mark jockey thong and get inside of Miss Piggy's atomic waste reactor and get themselves a nice sloppy taste of the atomic waste. And again, this woman thinks she's the hottest thing since sliced bread. I mean, she's looking a little heavy, thinking she's the bee's knees, but she's a dime a dozen. And again, this woman, when I look at her, this is the type of woman that the passport bros want to talk about as related to being a better choice. And again, many of these guys will sit there and say, oh, black women are so bad. But this woman basically shows how all women out here have been indoctrinated into feminism, and how feminism can make every woman out here unattractive. And again, unattractive not as related to their looks, but as related to their values and their character. Because when I look at this woman's values and character, she's not someone I would ever consider even thinking about, because when I look at her, who she is on the inside, it just shows how unattractive she is on the outside. And again, as I've said in multiple videos, if a man can't get his respect, then he's not going to move any further as related to a relationship. And this woman shows no respect for men. No, it's all about her. And again, that narcissism is the main reason why I would just reject this woman. Again, she's not really, again, an attractive person as related to values and character. She does not exhibit any sort of kindness or compassion. No, she's a very cold, calculating woman who wants to be like a man, but sadly doesn't understand that while she thinks she's like a man because she's got this money and this job, again, her emotions will undo her, because as she forms spiritual bonds with all of these pookies who will look to go out here and smash and dash and look to use her for whatever they can get out of her, this is where she's gonna fall apart, because that's what happens to most women who think that they're all of that, but don't understand that they're on the road to Bust Downtown and on the road to becoming a woman in crisis like this. Now, if you want to learn why women like this will be single for the rest of their life, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format, and it'll go into detail why these are women who will never get married, because no man can ever work with them in a relationship. And if you want to find out why women like this are incompatible with men and what is led to them becoming feminist and not women, you can pick up my book, The Woman Crisis on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find it at other online booksellers like Smashware's The iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can send a donation to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available for the first time in paperback, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Learn all the reasons why so many Black women can't find a husband and why 70% of Black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.